All right, so Magda on Facebook asked, "Hi, I wanted to ask for advice about taking a laptop for a working holiday visa. Is it worth it as it's extra weight, etc.? Would I need to carry it around me? How to protect it? How to store it? Any tips? Best wishes." I like the best wishes. That's really lovely.
It's polite.
All right, Magda. So you're coming on a working holiday visa, which will allow you to work and travel in New Zealand, usually for about 12 months. Now, the reason why I'm saying that, because if someone is watching this video is coming just to travel around New Zealand, it's maybe a bit of a different profile. The working holiday makers, they can come work and travel for 12 months. That's quite a pretty long period of time, and that's why our answer may be slightly bit different than the answer we will give to someone that will be coming to New Zealand for only a couple of weeks or even just a month traveling. So what is the laptop useful for when you're on a working holiday visa in New Zealand?
Well, it is handy to have a laptop ready just for preparing your CVs, for applying for jobs. Usually it's a little easier to sort of also do your job research and all that on your computer rather than on your phone, where it's a little harder to browse on your phone. So if a lot of people do prefer to use laptops, and it's easier to write out CVs, and you do constantly need to update CVs throughout your year while you are traveling in New Zealand, and you need to create different CVs for the different types of jobs you're applying for. So definitely for those reasons, that is why you might want to consider having a laptop.
And also to check BackpackerGuide.NZ, obviously,
exactly.
Right? This is your Bible for traveling.
BackpackerGuide.NZ works perfectly well on the phone.
That's true.
So whatever you guys prefer. And also, obviously, it depends on what you like to use a laptop for. A lot of people like to use it for watching movies, stuff like that, and it maybe even gaming if you're into that as well. So it really depends on sort of your own use of a laptop as well. If you actually if you find that you do use a laptop quite a lot and can't live without it, then definitely bring it with you.
Yeah. All right. So as for tips for picking the right laptop or carrying your laptop around and everything. So the thing that we did with Laura, actually, when we're on the go, we actually bought ourselves a much smaller a laptop. They are 15.6 inches. That's how they measure the screens here in New Zealand. So just find your centimeters measurements if you're from Germany or France.
Don't they do them in inches in Germany and France as well? Because in the UK they do it in inches, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought it was like a screen thing.
No,
screens are always in inches.
No, I think in France and Germany they do it in centimeters.
It's like pizza. Pizza's always in inches too, isn't it?
No.
You don't get a centimeter pizza.
In France, I know there is.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Anyway,
okay. So you take one of the smallest laptops you can, just because it's going to make it much easier for you to carry. I mean, getting those really big, beastie laptops, which now we do have to have, especially for all the videos we're making, makes it much harder to travel around. They need to have their own bag, and then it's just much harder. So if you get one of those smaller laptops, it's much easier to carry. You can slide them in almost any bags. Now, speaking about carrying them around, there are some really good things nowadays, which are waterproof laptop sleeves, which is so handy because, well, you're going to be carrying them a little bit all around and everything like that. And that's going to make it so much easier, because usually when it's waterproof, that means dust-proof. And this just gives you a lot of peace of mind when you have that in your backpack or in your bag. Now, if you do carry a laptop in your backpack, I would suggest to put it at the back of the backpack. But just keep one piece of clothing. So you have the back of your backpack right here. You're going to put one jumper here, well folded, and here you're going to put your laptop. Just because it's going to help move the weight a little bit more around, because it still gets quite heavy with the battery and everything like that. And also it will not hurt your back to have something too flat and too hard. So because you have the jumper right here, so that's how we basically carry it around as well. Now, going back to buying the laptop, you also want to get a laptop that will have a decent battery life. Just because, well, sometimes there is literally no plugs for you to plug it in. It should be a cafe. It can be a cafe. It can be a hostel where everybody has already plugged everything in there, which happens quite often. So one of the thing that I prioritize the most is definitely the making sure that the battery life is good enough. Keeping into the protection stuff, so the waterproof sleeve helps, but there is also some insurances that allow you to insure your belongings when you travel around. So especially if you're on a working holiday visa in New Zealand, you may want to use one of those insurance for medical and travel insurance, because it's mandatory with your visa. And if you do that, well, there is some of them that allow you to add extra cover for that laptop. So if you're really worried about that, you can pay a few extra dollars and you have that covered. Obviously, you will need an adapter, because I strongly advise you to buy that back home, right? Don't buy it in New Zealand, because then you're going to go back home and you're not going to have the right plug. It's a bit of a pain. But buy yourself an adapter when you buy your laptop. You can find them really cheap on Amazon. There's plenty of different adapters, a power adapter that you can get. And we do have an article on BackpackerGuide.NZ with all the best adapters that you can use, from the super cheap to the super high tech and everything in between. We tested quite a lot. So it's really important to keep that in mind when buying your laptop. You want to make sure that you have a correct adapter for that as well. Obviously, for 12 months, I would say yes, take a laptop. But if you decide not to take a laptop with yourself, there are plenty of other ways to access the internet. Cybercafe, which are like internet cafes, libraries, and all of that. And a lot of them even have actually computers for hire. You don't just get the internet, you get the computers.
Yeah, and that's also the case in a lot of hostels as well. Some hostels have computers, like a little computer area as well. Particularly the nomads hostels around New Zealand, they tend to have a little computer area as well. I think
they're called Global Gossip, the company that does that for them.
Oh yeah. They also provide the Wi-Fi as well. Yeah, but I think libraries is usually the best place to go, like the more sure place to actually be able to access a computer. But obviously, as you all know, that on your phones, you can do a lot on your phones nowadays. So, for traveling around, it might just be a little bit easier to just use your phone and carry it. But then when you do need to update your CV, for instance, just find the nearest library, and you can definitely do that in the library.
And also, did you consider tablets? We do live on our tablets as well, and there's some really cool rolls of keyboard, rolling keyboards, which are really flexible, very easy to use as well. So that's really cool. So you can also use that, and that may be a really good way to kind of have something in between as well. So it's obviously there's a lot of pros and cons for all of those items, but I'll say if you come for an entire year on a working holiday in New Zealand, you may need a laptop. You will need to update your CV. You will need to kind of
It's definitely handy to have one. Yeah.
I would personally take a laptop for sure. Yeah. But that's my take on it.
Yeah, I also brought a laptop when I arrived first in New Zealand on a working holiday, and also we do have a lot of information on BackpackerGuide.NZ, which is which we have a whole article on all the things to consider for buying a laptop for traveling. So we can give you some extra information on that website, on that article as well. So we'll make sure to put the link in the description below.
All right, and if you did find this video useful, like and subscribe. That always helps us a lot.